News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moskow.
Karen, let's begin with details on the historic blizzard that pounded the East Coast. Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen's been following the storm every step of the way and is here with us now. So, Craig, what kind of accumulation totals are we looking at here?
Yeah, indeed, historic, because there are some history-making numbers here. Not so much D.C. Let's start around D.C. and work our way on up. There was about 2 to 4 inches of a slushy snow around D.C., but there were some areas that were closer to the 5 to 10 inch mark if you were near the coast or in some of the suburbs. On up to Philadelphia, 14 inches. New York City, 19.7 inches. That puts it in the top 10 snowiest storms for the New York City area. 18 to 24, though, in some of the suburbs, and even as much as 32 inches for parts of Long Island and on up into coastal Connecticut. And then up to Boston, 31.8. But before we get to Boston, it was a record-breaking snow in the history of record-keeping for Providence. 38 inches of snow from this particular storm. Highest snow totals ever. Highest wind totals were 80 to 85 miles per hour out across Nantucket and Montauk. Temperatures this morning are in the 20s, and obviously that means that we have some refreezing going on out there as well.
Well, are we expecting that we're going to get any break in the temperature so we can start to dig out of this thing?
We will. It will get milder for a while this weekend, but it doesn't come cheaply. It comes at a cost of more snow. There is a chance of snow, but light snow. These are not major systems, but there could be some snow, especially for New York City and Boston tonight into tomorrow, maybe about a 1 to 3 inch type system. Same thing again Wednesday night into Thursday, and believe it or not, early next week. So it's going to be a parade of systems, but I don't think there's going to be anything as epic as what we just had moving off the coast yesterday.
All right, Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen, and of course we'll be checking in with you all morning. Craig, thank you. Well, as the dig out continues in the Northeast, things are not back to normal just yet, and Bloomberg's John Tucker joins us with the very latest. John, good morning.
Good morning, Karen. It's going to be days before we dig out from the blizzard of 26 after 3 canceled flights. This man spoke for many.
How is my winter going in general? It's a little bit too long if you ask me. I'm wondering if they'll let me become the new groundhog and I can decide if winter stays a little bit longer, because this has been a bit much.
More than 11,000 flights have been grounded through today. More than 500,000 homes and businesses without power as of late yesterday. NJ Transit says North Jersey coastline and Raritan Valley Line service, that remains suspended. Northeast Corridor trains operating on a President's Day schedule with some adjustments. And on the streets of Manhattan, sidewalks are treacherous in spots where snow has turned to sheets of ice. New York City schools will be open for in-person instruction this morning. And don't relax just yet. Winter isn't over in New York. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, John, thank you. We turn to politics now. A major story on that front's coming up tonight as President Trump delivers his State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress. Affordability and tariffs are expected to be 2 key themes. We get a preview from Bloomberg's Amy Morris in Washington.
President Trump's second year in office is struggling with erratic messaging, policy reversals, and sinking poll numbers. Former Republican Congressman Patrick McHenry of North Carolina, now a Bloomberg News contributor, tells Bloomberg Daybreak there's plenty for the president to talk about.
So the question of tariffs and how the president's going to respond to speak to this massive buildup of troops and air power in the Middle East, and doing so in the midst of, nearly 50 million people socked in a blizzard.
And while the president's economic agenda was thrown into chaos after the Supreme Court struck down his preferred method of imposing global tariffs, he's expected to continue to promote levies in the State of the Union. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, Amy, thank you. Well, President Trump has invited both the men's and women's gold medal hockey teams to attend the State of the Union address. The women's squad has declined the invite, while many of the men's teams said they plan to attend. And you can catch extended coverage of the State of the Union tonight with a special edition of Balance of Power. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Wall Street time with Joe Matthew and Kayleigh Lines on Bloomberg Radio and Television.
And Karen, President Trump's primetime speech comes as he begins to rebuild his trade agenda. The president's new 10% global tariffs are now in effect, but he doesn't plan to stop there, as we hear from Bloomberg's Rosalind Matheson.
We do know from an administration official telling Bloomberg that they're looking to see how they can raise that quickly to 15%, the level that Donald Trump threatened. And of course, that's potentially bad news for some key US allies like Australia and the UK, which stand to be worse off than the parameters of the trade deals that they've been agreeing with the US.
In response to the 10% levy, Bloomberg's Roz Matheson says the European Union has halted ratification of its trade deal with the U.S. And the White House is also launching investigations into imported batteries, cast iron, electrical and telecom equipment, plastics, and industrial chemicals. Those probes could lead to even more tariffs under Section 232 of the Trade Act.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moskow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.